this album was recorded, once again, at Flatline Audio with Dave Otero. And question is, what qualities does he have as a producer that fits what Satan Host does? Been with you guys for quite a while now, so.
Yeah, this has been the 5th time we've recorded with Dave. So Dave, I know it sounds cliche in that, but I guess you could say Dave's probably the 5th member of Satan's Host. I mean, he knows how we work, he knows how we think. Him and Pat go back pretty good ways, so they have a really good repertoire working with each other. So, I mean, when we go in the studio, we already know what's going to happen. We already know how it's going to roll. We don't stand around asking questions or figuring this out or whatever. It's just natural to go in there and just do what we do, and we have a really great time working with Dave, and he knows how to get the best out of us. So, it's a really good working relationship. So, and plus he's right down the street from where we're at, so it's like, why go look for somebody else when he already knows what we're doing, how it works, and this and that. But, in the future, we'll always be open to see if we go with another producer or something like that. But for right now, we're sticking with Dave because he's been really true with us and really loyal, so we'd like to keep that relationship with him.
He records a lot of the black metal, death metal type of bands anyway, so he already knows that drums and guitar are a big part of the overall sound. And so he, unlike other engineers that do rock bands or maybe some pop bands and have a general idea of what, a darker band might or should sound like, Dave has a really good grasp on that. And it just like Anthony said, it complements our song and it complements what Satan's Host is about, and the relationship is really good. He also gives really good input on what he thinks should happen in the song or what he feels, and what he feels matches what we feel most of the time, or it's what we've been thinking about, like the changes that he allows us to make are changes that we were thinking about anyway and just needed that little extra push to make it happen. So he thinks the way we do, and there's really no reason to change when you have, a 5th member, like Anthony said, that actually works with the band and doesn't try to go his or her own certain direction just because the record company or someone else, maybe his own ideals, is pushing in that direction. There's times when we don't really argue with Dave, but we just kind of put our foot down and say, oh, well, this is really what we want for this. And he kind of says, okay, well, let's just try this anyway. And so we try it, and he's not a type of person that says, well, my way is always better. There's a couple of times in the studio where we've tried his idea, and it kind of, was not what he wanted, and he just, threw it out like anything else. So, yeah, he's really fast. He's kind of inexpensive. He works well. It's a very comfortable environment with him, and he's had a long-time relationship with the band. So I don't see, unless we are forced by some kind of record label down the road, I don't see us changing from Dave, for the next couple of albums. We're doing something right now. We're doing the 25th anniversary of Satan's Host. We're going to be putting out some old material and some fairly recent material with Eli on it that used to have Eli on it, and we're going to put, my vocals to it just to show the fans what Satan's Host, the potential of Satan's Host, and also to prove to them, once again, that our sound really hasn't changed, only the vocalist to give it a different direction, but hopefully this will, putting my vocals to that material, will bring a new life to it, and the fans will truly appreciate it.
Awesome. How is the Denver metal scene out there? You don't hear about many metal bands in Denver.
Well, there's Cephalic Carnage. They're kind of the kings of the town, and then we're right underneath them, or I don't know, some people say we're the kings of the town, but there's a kind of a good metal scene. The problem with the Denver scene is there's too many cliques, there's too many bands against bands. I mean, we've been trying for years to make a more united scene that will be, can catch the attention of the bigger picture, because, you know, people in the bigger picture don't like to go into a town or a scene where there's bickery or there's rivalry a lot, you know, and that's kind of one of the things that hinders Denver a lot. But Cephalic's been out there. They've been kicking ass going around the world, and, you know, Allegiant just came out. They're a really good band, except they're a little bit north. They're from Fort Collins. Havoc, they just came out with the new album. They're doing great globally. It looks like they're doing really well. So there's some really good cream of the crop emerging out of the Denver scene right now, but I think it could really land on the map if there was a lot more, you know, camaraderie between the bands, you know, and everybody working together. You have promoters stabbing each other in the back. Nobody, you know, it's you know, got to know this person to get into this venue and this and that, and they won't really go for the quality of the music or who you're going to bring in and this and that. It's just not really happening out here that way.
Nice. How do you feel the music industry has changed since you started back in 1977?
I think it's gotten definitely heavier. The darker stuff is more acceptable. The bands have gotten away from. It's kind of weird. They got away from the vocal melody and more into the guitar melody. Even took the lead guitar out for about 5 or 6 years of the mainstream songs. Well, now people are starting to get more into lead guitar, more into strong vocal melody. Disturbed maybe had something to do with that, to where there was rap oriented or crunchy vocals for a long time, and no one understood that, you know, look, if you have heavy music, you can also have highly melodic vocals to it, and that's actually a compliment. There for a long time, people thought that in order for you to have heavy songs, you had to have a real heavy, low, monotonous singer to carry that across, or it just didn't sound heavy. But, you know, now I see that coming around full circle. I see a lot of people appreciating melodic vocalists nowadays and appreciating real good lead players, and also appreciating songs that are textured, multi-textured, instead of just hearing 1 or 2 riffs and having a 2 or 3 minute song. People are really starting to appreciate the musicianship of music, and the heaviness of music is starting to spread. There's a lot of bands coming out now that are really, really heavy and starting to get, you know, higher pitched singers in there. And, you know, other than it was before, it was just Slayer and Ostrogoth and people like that, Bathory. You know, they had really intense music, but all their singers were basically, you could take one singer and it would sound like all of them, because they were just, you know, crunchy Cookie Monster type things. But now they're getting a little bit more definition by bringing in, you know, more flashier and more melodic players in that music, and it's still sounding just as heavy, if not heavier. So yeah, I see that the public is now starting to want to go towards the darker side of music, and it's getting heavier and heavier, and blast beats are getting more in the mainstream.
Cool. So of the 10 songs on this new album, which one sums up the Host for a new fan, like somebody that's never heard of Satan's Host before? Which song would you suggest listening to give them an overall picture of the band in general?
Before the Flame.
Yeah, Before the Flame's really good.
But before we get out of here, anything you'd like to say to your fans at Metalholic Magazine and Mojo Radio?
I would like to tip our hat to them, thank them all for the support. You know, the legions are growing every day. You know, so far this album's been selling really well. The label's really happy, and they're getting behind it and pushing it. And we just gotta say thanks for all the support, and keep demanding in your city for Satan's Host to come to your town. And hopefully we could come out and see everybody soon.
Awesome, Harry. Anything you'd like to say?
No, just keep the faith, stay true to yourself, stay true to your beliefs, and, of course, you know, stay true to Satan's Host, and we'll see you soon.
There you have it, folks. Satan's Host, live from Metalholic Magazine. Stay metal.
That's all.